The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case. Huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, huge cover-up. Okay. Terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs. The Illuminati, Bilderberg, New World Order, globalists are the element behind this. It dovetails into the satanic movement, and this movement has infiltrated into our intelligence community, the once great FBI and the CIA.
So, I mean, it's frightening what the power that's been given to psychiatrists. This issue of psychic driving, and driving people mad, and that TIs are reporting it. You mentioned that TIs are reporting it. But, part of the larger question here is that there are many forms of mind control that are actually being leveled at everybody, not just TIs. Right?
Yeah. And it's weird. Ever since 9/11, our senators have passed, because they're really controlled by the Pentagon and paid for by all of the contracting companies, bribed and et cetera. They passed laws that it's finally legal to use propaganda, although it's always been done, on the U.S. citizens. And they're using counterintelligence. They're going into, Facebook, our support groups, everything,
Yes.
And they're actually paid government agents to disrupt the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I think I'm familiar with that.
Our tax dollars are paying these idiots to harm the truth from coming out to save us. It's really brilliantly evil. It's just brilliantly evil. So I've always liked the villains and bad guys, often in the James Bond movies, for their brilliance.
Well, in a
my
movie,
own government is brilliantly evil. I got to admire them for that.
Well, real life evil is a little bit different than fiction evil, as you know, Robert. And
and
it is horrifying.
This has gone on for so long and unnoticed.
And that's part of the reason why this hasn't come out. Although I think the main reason it hasn't come out is because media's got the hold on that. It's got the lid on that. I would like to think that we are busting through that lid and, making our voices heard and our presence felt.
I think every bit counts. I never thought I would see a solution in my lifetime. But now, if I live another 10 years, I think we might see something real eventually happen, where the Pentagon said you can do awful things to about 3 to 6% of any population, falsely imprison them, etc., in any country. But if the knowledge of that gets over 6%, then a successful revolution can occur. And so I think we're penetrating that 6% of people know about this level, and that it may be a runaway process that everyone will eventually know, and justice can be served. So it gets very deep.
So this suggests that these particular programs, these mind control programs, these neurotech targeting programs, neuro disruption programs, they are sort of creme de la creme. They're the ultimate secret that the DoD CIA wants to keep forever secret. And they really think they can get away with it. I mean, how have they gotten away with it so far, up till now?
Using many techniques by counterintelligence. We spend a lot of money on counterintelligence. And what does that mean? Literally dumbing down the population. So we create cover stories like alien abductions or
Okay, that's sort of disinfo mind control, right? Through television
Yeah.
programming and stories in the community, etc., about aliens, UFOs, flying saucers, abductions, military, which are actually military abductions from what many people report, etc., things like that. But are they also using technology to dumb people down?
They're doing both.
So a very effective place to put the magnet is actually on the back of your neck. So you can wrap it in a scarf, you know, have a big scarf so that you're wrapping it like, you know, it doesn't matter how many levels of thickness of material you have. If it's a strong magnet, it's not going to matter. The force of the magnet will come right through that fabric. So, you know, you get a nice comfortable scarf and you wrap it up with the magnet in the middle and then tie it on to your neck so that the magnet is right at the back of your neck. Now,
So you see, what's happening is called counterintelligence. And counterintelligence is not just on social media. It's also on these support groups, conference calls, any form of media, any format. These TI support groups where these government informant provocateurs and perpetrators come on these calls and they just create chaos, and they inject into the community with, you know, all this fanciful and fantastic information. It's done not just to discredit. It's done not just to provoke victims into emotional responses, which can be remotely measured by the supercomputer and integrated back into R&M data, but it's also done to dumb down people, to increase the confusion rate of victims, so that to dumb down the sheepish masses, to dumb down the population. What the government is doing is it's flooding the internet to drown out the truth. What happens in a flood? In a flood, people drown. In a flood, animals drown. Remember Noah's flood? Everybody drowned. That's what the government is doing. They're flooding the internet. Keyword is flooding the internet to drown out the truth with all this lies and half-truths and disinformation, misdirection, misinformation, indirection, and so forth. It just goes on and on. They're trying to drown out the truth, and not just, you know, on social media. They're coming onto the TI conference calls, and they just sit on those calls and they never shut up. They're constantly injecting into the narrative, into the conversation, attempting to capture the attention of everybody that's on the phone. Well, there's science behind that, but I don't have time to explain it. There's a lot of neuroscience and psychology behind counterintelligence. But its primary purpose is to counter the intelligent, to dumb down victims, to dumb down the population, okay? To increase the confusion rate. They're flooding the internet to drown out the truth. I get online, I go on to YouTube, for example, I do a search for targeted individuals on YouTube, and I get all these tarot card videos, people with tarot cards, or some other nonsense. That's counterintelligence. You see a lot of these crazy, fanciful and fantastic, trivial, paltry, fanciful and fantastic videos from people. You very rarely see a real victim, a real TI. You know, that's counterintelligence. That's flooding the internet, flooding social media to drown out the truth. It's called counterintelligence. Okay? On these TI support groups, like if you go to PAX International and you listen to, you know, they're on every Saturday and Monday, and basically every TI support group is either infiltrated or created by perps for that purpose, for the purpose of dumbing down victims, dumbing down the American populace, the sheepish masses. They're flooding social media. They're flooding the internet. They're flooding every format to drown out the truth. They control the media, so they flood the media with counterintelligence.